Kapla, ladies and gentlemen. I am Lord Ice, your host, and today we fight for the Empire. I've never done a video on the Klingon side, and I felt like doing videos on the Klingon side. There are two things that I want to do in this video, and it's actually going to be 3 videos because I'm going to be doing 3 missions. I'm going to start recording the featured episode missions probably tomorrow. Today, we're going to be doing some Foundry stuff. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about the build, because the other reason I wanted to do the video is because I want to spotlight the torpedo boat. Especially this torpedo boat. I am flying the Burrell Bird of Prey retrofit, which should immediately be a key as to how this build works. Prepare for the Shakespeare quotes, ladies and gentlemen. We're flying Chang's ship. This ship is designed to fire lots of torpedoes from under cloak. It uses 3 projectile weapons officers to reduce the cooldown of my torpedoes. It uses web mines to royally screw people over. It uses the Tricobalt cluster torpedo to just hit like a sack of bricks. And it uses auxiliary power and engine power. It doesn't actually use shields because it's designed to be cloaked most of the time. It doesn't use weapons because weapon power is useless to torpedoes. So this build is actually a little unconventional because most builds use pure energy weapons. There are some ships that do torpedo boats better, but I like flying this because it's actually fun. This ship is made of wet toilet paper being held together by the hopes and dreams of small children. It is made of squish, and indeed it can kill itself with the Tricobalt cluster torpedo. But you get a ton of damage. This build is designed to survive simply by not taking damage. That's why it's cloaked most of the time. And you'll see that in action. It's a very mobile ship, very squishy, and relies solely on hull heals. It doesn't even have shields. Well, it has shields equipped, but that's more because eventually you will get decloaked. I'm running the Dyson 2 set, which is photon projectile weapon damage and crit chance. That's from the gravimetric torpedo and this thing here. I'm also running the enhanced biomolecular photon torpedo because it hurts. Regular biomolecular photon. I should probably get better photon torpedoes. I'm considering making this transphasic, but I'm not going to be doing that today. However, there's something I remembered that I wanted to do. And to do it, we're going to have to go over to Rygo. Rygo got an item that this guy is going to be using. So let's pop over here real quick. Also, in today's episode, it's going to be a 3-parter. I am going to be recording 3 videos today. And I'm going to be doing probably one of my favorite Foundry series of all time. One of the best Foundry series of all time. And anyone that knows me knows probably what I'm talking about. Today, we're going to be doing Honor of. This is a Foundry series by Sir Boulevard on the Klingon side, and it is amazing and wonderful, and everyone should play it. And I felt like doing it. So I'm going to do it. Because this is my channel, and I'm going to do whatever I want. But before we do that, I am going to give Illusion this item, and I will explain this item when I equip it. Now that we're done on Rygo, we can leave. You did also see me collect the duty officer assignments I started in the last... Well, I didn't actually start one of them in the last... No, I did start both of them in the last video. Wow, it's been less than 24 hours and I don't even remember what I did in my last video. But yes, I collected those. Useful stuff, good stuff. Which reminds me, I've also got other stuff to collect on this guy. I've got a lot of stuff to do on this character because I don't use him as much. He is my second oldest character. Rygobeth is my oldest. I made him before the 1st anniversary. This guy I made not long after. He started at level 6. Klingons haven't started level 6 in a long time. They've changed the Klingon leveling process twice. You used to start at level 6, then you started at level 20. Now you get to start at level 1. This guy's old.
What do you require from Klingon temporal intelligence?
Remember how I mentioned that Delta Recruitment gave account wide rewards. Let's just collect them all. By the way, pro tip, to negate that little OK button for all of that, hold down Control when you hit the buy button. So just collecting all the loots. I still have yet to run a Romulan or a Fed through most of this. I might try to grind that out over the weekend, but not today. Because that is something that you want to do. Okay, so I'm gonna pop my new bridge officer. This is the photonic engineer that I was talking about earlier, or yesterday. You get one on each faction, so it's good stuff. This is the Priceline Negotiator, Temporal Negotiator. Info. This device swaps chronoton energy signatures with other potential realities to create a localized instability that... Look, it's very complicated, but it works, trust me. It reduces all of your buff cooldowns by 50%. Very useful. There's also a ground equipment that restores 50% of your max hit points to your team by basically reversing time and correcting paradoxes. Because you're important. Sorry, Jackal Mastiff, but this is far more powerful than you. Jackal Mastiff you get early on in the Klingon story. It's actually a combat pet, which is incredibly rare in this game, and everybody wants one. I'm just going to go ahead and collect the crafting XP boost, because that's useful. And these are mark boxes, so I'll probably go and bank these, since I need to go to the bank anyway. So that's how Delta recruitment worked. You do missions, and in return for doing missions, you occasionally get rewards both on character and account. And all of the rewards were fucking amazing. It was awesome, and I really wish they would do it forever, but they can't, because that would just break the game. Although I hope they redo Delta recruitment in the future. Like, re-release it once every year or so. Make it an annual thing so that people can enjoy it. I can understand if they don't, but it's something that I want them to do. So, I'll go ahead and grab the mystery item. Players that have played this game might actually recognize that item, but I'll explain it in a second. Because it actually ties in very well with the build that I'm doing. Oh! I actually have items in my overflow bag. That is the non-combat Todouge fighter pet. It just spawns a cosmetic pet, and I don't do cosmetic pets, because cosmetic pets are worthless. They're annoying. Also, do you see that little triangle next to this guy's name? He is a Delta recruit. This is a Delta recruit character. This character is not, because you actually have to create the character during the Delta recruitment event in order for him to be a Delta recruit. Anyway, on to the console. This is Alpha Deception Field. It's a console that comes from the Hirogen lockbox, and basically what it does is it allows you to fake your death in order to snare a target ship and reduce all of your bridge officer cooldowns. Problem is, it's not terribly useful, and it's actually kind of hard to pull off. So I'm going to swap it with the subspace integration circuit. What this does is it allows me to create a subspace anomaly at my target's location, which prevents them from seeing things and slows them down, and shuts down their weapons. That will prevent them from hitting me, and that's good because this build is designed to not get hit. It's designed to either dodge attacks, or simply not have them shot at in the first place. That's kind of hard to do with single-player missions, but I pull it off fairly well. So, off with the build, and on to Honor of. We're going to start with the first spotlighted mission, Honor of Ferasa. You're getting hailed from Worf. Lieutenant General, the Ferasan Prides have contacted the High Council in conjunction with the Romulan Republic. Something is stirring on Ferasa, and the Klingon Empire is sending diplomats to a meeting with the Ferasan Pride of Prides and the Republic. Under normal circumstances, I would attend myself, but with the current state of affairs between the House of Martok and the House of Jimpok, that would be inappropriate. However, as a friend to the House of Martok and as one of Jimpok's greatest warriors in recent days, as well as your assistance in exposing the treachery in the House of Torg, and your valorous fight against the Feknari, the High Council felt no other officer in the Empire would be worthy of this position. The High Council has sent several Ferasan passports and diplomatic immunity documents to a safe box on Kronos to assist you for this mission. Kapla, Lieutenant General. May you find glory and honor on Ferasa. The safe deposit box is in the transporter room on Kronos. So that's how this mission starts. This was originally intended, apparently, to be a one-off, but he decided to make it into a series, and it is definitely for the better, because the Foundry series is amazing. It actually really is. I'm going to be recording all of them today, but I'll record them as separate videos. Lieutenant General, you've acquired your passport and diplomatic documents. We are ready to depart for Ferasa at your command. Beam up and warp to Ferasa. We're not going to be quoting Shakespeare just yet, don't worry. Die-hard Trekkies will know what I'm talking about quoting Shakespeare. If you don't, go watch Star Trek VI. Actually, very good movie. My favorite of the classic movies. Followed very closely by Star Trek II. Foundry missions take a while to load the maps. That is to be expected. Trying to think of things to say. Oh, here we go. Iconian War. We've arrived at the Ferasa system. The God, Romulans, and Orion ambassadors have already arrived. The Romulan ambassador is sending us a hail, requesting us to contact her. Understood. Helm, set a course for the Romulan cruiser. That would be the, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. I feel like I would get emphysema or something. Oops, polarized my hull. Lieutenant General, my name is Ambassador Gilia of the Romulan Republic. I'm glad to make your acquaintance. We are grateful our allies in the Klingon Empire are taking the situation so seriously as to send 3 ambassadors to the conference. Did you say 3 ambassadors, Madam Ambassador? Indeed I did. Ambassador Sitas of the Gorn Hegemony, Ambassador Msan of the Orions, and of course yourself. Msan is no doubt here to provide intelligence to Milani Dion, and I highly doubt we'll do anything truly supportive in this matter, unless it involves Ferasans moving to Tehas Mor. Sitas is a great ambassador for the Empire, and is very active in negotiating between the Ferasan clans and the Klingons, but I doubt he will be willing to risk Gorn troops for a matter that will involve sovereign soil of Ferasa. As a result, I would like to formally request your assistance in whatever we may Uh-oh. SB, I know you're watching this video. I think there's a bit of a phrasing problem here. I would like to formally request your assistance in whatever we may required. I think you need to remove that D during these talks. Of course, Ambassador. But may I ask what this is about? In time, that this is a matter for the conference hall, and I believe Ferasans typically prefer to discuss sensitive matters personally. Some sort of honor ritual, if I recall correctly. Very well, but I make no promises at this time. I understand. I, too, would not wish to volunteer for something I know nothing about beforehand. I assure it's probably... You need to put a U there. Foundry missions, they do occasionally have typos, because they are actually player-made, and that's why they're amazing. But they have their issues sometimes, usually just spelling. I assure you it's probably more mundane than most of your missions entail. Ambassador Gilia, out. Now, she was talking about Milani Dion and the Orions. Milani Dion is the head of the Orion Syndicate, which is a crime syndicate in Trek. They're fairly covert, and indeed they're basically criminals. The Klingons allied with them during their war with the Gorn hegemony, and they've been providing... They basically act as a substitute for Klingon intelligence most of the time. Milani Dion is the head of the Order. She is an Orion woman, so, she causes people to go insane. Ambassador Satas. You might actually Players will recognize this guy from Second Wave, because he is the Gorn ambassador. He is also the ambassador, because he is a badass, and this mission, and this Foundry series, is going to prove it. Lieutenant General, it is good to see you again. No doubt that the Romulan ambassador was as cryptic with you as she was with me. I am already irritated with the Ferasans' overprotective security procedures and diplomatic requirements. For our warrior race, they take great pride in their paranoia. I agree, it's nearly Romulan in their procedure. Agreed. Was this ambassador a former member of the Tal Shiar, or is this just typical Romulan treachery? Beyond your guard, I smell duplicity. The Ferasans do not invite Outworlders to Ferasa on a diplomatic mission lightly. Something has them concerned, and whatever it is, it involves the Republic. The Romulans and the Ferasans have never been friends, and for them to have arranged this together is very suspicious. Stay alert. I fear our lives are in danger. Very well, we will keep our eyes open. Sir, the Ferasan government is cleared us to beam down to the Ferasan diplomatic annex on Selru. Foundry missions are actually required to bring full away teams. It's a limit of the engine. I really wish the devs would allow Foundry authors to determine away team size, because that would actually make missions a lot more interesting. But they can't yet, so that's not what's happening. And of course, Ambassador Satas is right to be paranoid, but he's pointing the paranoia in the wrong direction. I've played these missions before, mind you. He is right, we are in danger, but it's not from the people he thinks. And that is actually a really good plot twist. Not going to tell you who it is just yet. You will find out soon enough. And anyone that likes collecting pets, you may want to, rethink that decision after this mission. Oh, we're loading in. Wait, was I cackling evilly out loud? Totally not intentional. Alright. What is this? Is this Federation technology? Of course it is, because when this mission was made, they didn't have anything else. Foundry limitations are limitations, after all. Talk to the Hisao. Hisao Janao Nafis. I assume that this is easier to pronounce if you're a cat person. Neural Yan, Lieutenant General. Welcome to Ferasa. Allow me to download a map of the building into your tricorder for your convenience. In addition, I will require you to sign this pad. Is this really necessary? Oh yes, the Prides take their paperwork extremely seriously. 400 years ago, a volunteer for additional genetic enhancements was killed tragically. A paperwork mix-up had resulted in him growing to 10 meters tall and destroying half the city of Nyasi with a shuttlecraft he wielded as a club. Then his head exploded. Pardon my tongue, but the Cheyenne was the greatest victim of incompetence. Since that day, the Prides view paperwork as vital to the success of the clans as any battle prowess. Pass me the pad. I love that. I absolutely love that. Thank you, Lieutenant General. Now, may I help you with directions? You'll probably want to know where the conference hall for this meeting is located. I can also point you in the direction of a database to get you caught up on historical culture. Where's the mess hall? Did you not read your invitation, Lieutenant General? You were asked to bring a sack lunch. Our mess hall is off limits to visitors. Off-worlders typically react poorly to the sight of Ferasans eating their prey. Even Ferasan representing other organizations must follow this rule. My apologies. Where can I read up on her Ferasan history? Our computer library is down the hall to the right, when facing the big window overlooking the plaza. I would install a marker, but the library's navigation beacon is non-functional at this time. And the conference room? The conference room is down the hall to your left, when facing the big window. Thank you, Hisao. For the benefit of the viewers, I'll go ahead and reread the history, because it is actually incredibly good and one of the best parts of the mission. I've made friends with this Foundry author. He wanted to make this mission as basically to flesh out his main Klingon character, who was a Ferasan. He's done an amazing job. Please enter username and password. KDF_Diplo4, password asterisks. Database entries. Ferasan biological entry. Species, Ferasan. Average height 1.75 to 2.9 meters. Average weight 175 to 230. Genders, bigendered. Ferasans are bipedal and have tails to assist their balance, extended maxillary canine teeth, and large eyes with excellent night vision. Their skin is covered with soft fur coat, and their phelinoid ears can pick up frequencies that most humanoids are unable to detect. Some Ferasans have telepathic abilities in addition. Ferasans have darker fur coloring compared to Caitians. These abilities are the result of advanced eugenics and genetic engineering program. Naturally, Ferasans would be indistinguishable from Caitians. Details of Ferasan telepathic ability training indicates that the Ferasans whose ancestors displayed high ESPER scores were allowed to be augmented with genetic upgrades to encourage the ability in their offspring. Said ESPers were only permitted to breed with each other, forming the Lasara clan. Ferasan history. The Ferasan people's history stretches back to the 16,000 BCE, where the first recorded history revolves around the Prides learning to manipulate fire for their needs. Still being very primal by nature, the Ferasans were slow to develop their technology, but by the year 240 AD, the Ferasans had become a warp-capable race. It was during this era that the Caitian diaspora occurred. See Ferasan Unforgiven for details. When the Caitian rebels left Kate, while the remaining Ferasans continued with the eugenics and genetic manipulation program. By the year 890 AD, Ferasans with telepathic powers began to develop. By the 16th century, the Ferasans and Caitians encountered each other for the first time in over a millennia. Over the next 600 years, Ferasa and Kate would be on-again, off-again war until the end of the Ferasan Earth War. Currently, Ferasa is an ally of the Klingon Empire and an active participant in the Federation Klingon War. Related entry, Ferasan Unforgiven. Data report to Klingon Empire, Ferasan Unforgiven. The term Ferasan Unforgiven refers to Caitian rebels who fled the planet 2,000 years ago. The name Unforgiven is given to the Caitians are a permanent reminder of how to treat relations with this race. The Caitians were a group of Ferasans who opposed the people's growing eugenics program. Several Unforgiven Caitians stole and destroyed over 10 years' worth of eugenics research, most of which still has not been replaced due to the complex variables involved. The Caitian government have made several overtures to the Ferasan government over the centuries, but have all been rebunked. The Ferasans have declared the Caitians permanent enemies of the Ferasan people. The only reason the Ferasan people have not yet gone to war with Kate is due to the treaty with the Federation and the fact that the Kate are members thereof. Main menu. Ferasan system data. Let me take a drink of my tea. System, Ferasa. Native species, Ferasan, Caitian abandoned. Planets, 7. Habitable worlds, 1. Capital, Ferasa 3, aka Ferasa. Mineral resources, dilithium, beryllium, decalithium, tritanium. Famous exports, Napada, which is basically a drug, Ferasan Chag grass, probably another drug, and dilithium. We already read Unforgiven. KDF diplomatic status. Current status, Ferasan, Klingon Empire diplomatic relations. The current status between the people of Ferasa and the people of the Klingon Empire is a state of extreme cooperation. Due to treaty provisions following the Ferasan Earth War of 2192, the Ferasan government agreed to limit their military force in exchange for trade agreements and territory. As a result, the Klingon Defense Force considered the defense of Ferasa their honorable duty and right. In exchange, citizens of Ferasa were allowed to join the KDF in exchange for additional clan rights, property, and money. The Klingon Empire has been applying pressure for the acquisition of Ferasa to the Empire proper. Current ruling patriarch Ruzith has made it clear to the Klingon High Council that the Ferasan people will only join the Empire in exchange for a seat on the High Council, to be filled by the ruling patriarch of Ferasa. Ruling is pending. Ferasan culture. Ferasan culture is based around the prides and their specific abilities. The Ferasans take great pride in their combat prowess, and are very well-trained hunters. Much of Ferasan culture still revolves around hunting one's own meat, though modern agriculture is also considered an honorable and noble profession among clans. Wrong version of noble. Ferasan telepaths have tendencies to run in the gambit on their abilities, with some turning to severely paranoid and stressed people. Advances in the Ferasan geneticist clans have been working to eliminate the error and have developed an inhibitor gene that stops telepathy when it begins to overwhelm the Ferasan. Ferasans have a strong cultural connection to music and language, like the Cation cousins. Ferasans also take great pride in cooking and raising families. Ferasans are also are also well known for their use of hallucinogenic Napada leaves, which is frequently sold as a commodity across the galaxy. Napada is unique for being non-addictive to the user. Politics. Ferasan politics is a complicated issue. Each clans control their own territory and cities, and are responsible for their members' actions. The Ferasan planetary government is not dissimilar to the great houses of the Klingon Empire, except the Ferasans have practiced feudalism since the prehistory of their world. The leader of the Ferasans is the Patriarch, who skillfully defeats the prior Patriarch in sanctioned combat. Patriarchs who are assassinated are replaced by their closest ally, who is known to have committed no betrayals. There is an ED missing there. Betrayal is common among the clans of Ferasa, and each pride is prepared to deal with the subversion at all times. The greatest honor a Ferasan is to bestow is to remain faithful during a time of crisis. Clan feuds are known to involve blood debts, and it is not uncommon for clans to attempt genocide upon the other. This frequently fails as the other clans will adopt members of the clan as their own until they come of age. The current patriarch is Ruzith of Muvasi. If I knew it was safe to pull up Skype and actually show things like that, I would read off the list of clans that Sir Boulevard actually sent me. Perhaps I'll probably put it in the description of the video for anyone to read. But let's talk to this guy. He can be talked to. Kapla, Lieutenant General. I'm sorry, but beyond this door is restricted to Ferasan embassy personnel. At this time, you have not been granted clearance for access. Fight with honor. So we're basically done here, so let's actually get on with the mission, now that we've gotten the lore out of the way. I'll probably put an annotation in the video so that you can skip that if you don't want to. And indeed, I probably should, because that's a good idea. I'm going to have my bridge officers wait outside because otherwise it's just going to get crowded and they don't need to be here. Indeed, I should have probably left them in the transporter room, but... Talk to Ambassador Satas. Welcome to Ferasa, Lieutenant General. Hopefully that meddlesome Hisao at the front desk did not keep you wrong. Did she tell you the story about that giant mutant? She really takes her paperwork seriously. Too seriously. Regardless, you have met Ambassador Jilia. May I introduce Orion Ambassador Masan. It is nice to meet you. It is equally nice to meet you. May we get on with the conference? Masan, this is an imperial affair. Please try to keep your loyalties to the Empire first and foremost on your mind. Oh great, a syndicate spy. I have no intention of doing otherwise. Have I offended you somehow, Satas? If you are all done pretending to tolerate each other, can we get down to business? He definitely knows how to cut through the shit, doesn't he? Our apologies, Patriarch. Join the meeting. I am Rusith, Patriarch of the Clan Unsi, and Elder of the Council of Clans, leader of Ferasa and Supreme Commander of our armed forces. Allow me to introduce Sarathi Saveth, Arbiter of Rights for the Ferasan tribes. The honor is mine to serve. and our current dossier, the arbiter of lineage of Ferasa, Lysaikis. I serve the clan with honor and the glory of Ferasa. The honor is ours. Lieutenant General, ambassadors, we have an issue stirring on Ferasa. An exiled clan has not dispersed as we hoped they would. Clan Shiasi was sentenced to exile 2 years ago by the Prides, and for an exiled clan they maintain an unusually high standard of living. How is this an issue that concerns us? For us and exiles are not permitted to purchase any modern amenities. Any starships in their possession are acquired by the state, and children under the age of 13 are absorbed into other clans at the discretion of the dossier. Some attempt to rebuild in a similar form of civilization, but internal strife usually prevents this as the lower clan members blame the leadership for their woes. After a few years, exile clans go completely feral, typically. You can find feral Ferasans throughout the wilderness of this world. They wander bare-furred, hunting with their claws in primitive packs, like our bestial ancestors once did. Many die out from exposure or famine. Exile is the worst fate that can befall a Ferasan. And that has you concerned? If it was just that, we would investigate and handle it ourselves. You see, this exiled clan is very powerful, even in exile. It is Clan Shiasi. They were the clan who initiated the Ferasan eugenics and genetic modification program. It was they who drove the Unforgiven to destroy our research and abandon Ferasa as their home. They were the ones who granted us Ferasan telepaths and our enhanced fur coats. But they also constantly would push boundaries. They began to insist on further genetic modifications incurring flame sacks and telekinesis. More conservative clans like Doru or Msun have long pushed for us to pull back the eugenics program. Many Ferasans feel that further modification will make us no longer Ferasan. Shiasi kept pushing, but their motions were always shot down in council. Finally, enough of the clans decided that Shiasi had become unreasonable. 2 years ago, they were sent into exile for crimes against nature. You think the Shiasi are getting assistance? We are sure of it. But that is not what you have But that is not what has you gathered here today. Ambassador Gilia, if you will. 3 months ago, several biological specimens from New Romulus were stolen by Orion pirates and taken to the I object! The Orions have made no raids on New Romulus, in keeping with our agreement with the Klingon Empire. No one believes you, Msan. No doubt Melanie Dion sent you here to cover her tracks. You waste your breath by speaking your lies. Ambassador Gilia, I believe you have proof. Yes, an Orion ship named the Marani rendezvoused with a small colony of Ferasan heavy cruisers over Nimbus 3. According to our records, the Marani is one of Melanie Dion's personal flagships. How dare you! The Orion people will file a formal protest with the High Council over these false claims. I will hear no more of this. Spare Melanie Dion the trouble. The Gorn, Romulans, Republic, and Ferasan people will be filing their own. Patriarch, perhaps you should continue. Of course. Ambassador Gilia's documentation led one of our fleet to track down a convoy. One of the ships was destroyed, but it bared the markings of a pre-KDF Alliance Ferasan cruiser and the markings of Clan Shiasi. No biosamples were found, but the evidence was enough for us to suspect Clan Shiasi is planning to deploy a bioweapon against either us or the Cation Unforgiven. Why would they attack the Cations? If they managed to eliminate our ancient enemies, the Cations, they would receive significant legitimate political power, enough to overturn their exile and install them as the head of Ferasa. Still, their methods are dishonorable and would likely result in a disastrous Ferasan civil war. I dare not think about those consequences. At the moment, we need to track down these exiles and expose their plans before it is too late. That is where you come in. A team of off-worlders would be very unexpected to the Shiasi. They can use tricks to fool the other clans, but their own xenophobia might cause them to instantly jump to the defensive from the start. Patriarch, me, my crew and I volunteer for this job. Ambassador Chilia had suggested as much. Here are the transporter coordinates for the rough area where their camp is located. Be careful, the Shiasi are dangerous, subversive foes, and their talents for genetic modification are great. If they have a bioweapon, it could be anything. Stay alert, please. Ambassadors Sitas and Gilia, let us discuss contingency plans. Ambassadors, may I expect your support in this matter? Of course. Here is the comm frequency for our ships. If you need support, hail us, and we will personally lead troops to assist you. Good luck on this venture, Lieutenant General. Thank you, Ambassadors. Patriarch, if you will excuse me. Return to the transport room. Also going to use a gambling device because it buffs crit chance. Also, noticing a small error in my UI. You can hit Control F12 to edit your UI, by the way. I do it a lot because I like customizing my UI. This is definitely not the standard UI. At all. Whatsoever. So, we're going to go and find these Unforgiven. Well, they're not Unforgiven yet. Right now they're just exiles. Are you ready to beam to the location of the Shiasi camp? Energize. Shiasi, Tosashai. This is going to get interesting fairly quickly. I expect this video to run a little bit longer than the other two because, while this is the shorter of the missions, I also did take some time explaining my build and doing the other things. It's whatever. I just enjoy producing content. I also enjoy playing these missions. Spin. Finding Ferasans. Find the Shiasi camp. I wonder what this big green circle might be. I'm going to use Frosted Boots. You get these during the winter event, and they're only available during it. They increase your run speed at the cost of making you slide around. Which to me isn't a cost. Bouncy. And if you wonder what I mean by slide, slide. Turn off the Frosted Boots because we've got somebody to talk to over here. I am Patriarch Vris Musau. Who are you? What brings you to our pathetic village, Offworlder? I am here to investigate you. Investigate me? My clan is in exile. A prideless pride is what we are. What could we possibly investigate us for? We have nothing at all. You seem to be well-fed and supplied. I admit we've rationed considerably and are holding up well for an exiled clan, but that's nothing to be concerned about. What about smuggling biosamples from New Romulus? Smuggling off-world biosamples? Do you see any starships or shuttlecraft here? How would we acquire these samples? Ships bearing the markings of your clan were seen transporting the samples. It is lies. We've done no such thing. We have no starships to obtain off-world goods. We're not allowed to acquire goods. And yet your clothes are unripped. Where do you get the cloth for that? We have rationed supplies for years once our position amongst the clans began to decline. Among the supplies we gathered was mass amounts of cloth and farming implements. I have no desire for my people to wander the forest naked and starving. You seem to be neither. All the work of good planning. With enough time, perhaps the Shiasi could develop their own villages and regain their honor through hard work. I know it is unlikely. So many clans in exile go completely feral, wandering the wilderness, unable to talk, undressed, feeding off of whatever scraps they can find. I will not let that be my clan's fate. I will fight it with my dying breath. The other prides demanded that be your destiny. and I am proud that it has not come to pass. We have worked hard to get where we are. You mentioned farming equipment. I see no farmland here. Valid point. It is currently not a season to plant seeds. Soon Ferasa's winter will be upon us and this land will freeze. We have begun storing meats and vegetables for the winter as it stands. We have also moved south from our normal camp for a more comfortable situation in the season. I see. Is there a place I can talk to my officers in private? Of course, there is a tent to the southeast along the water's edge that you may use. And then, please do whatever you must as quickly as possible and leave us alone. We only wish to live our lives. Very well, Patriarch. Very defensive, him. But then again, he is kind of xenophobic. Can't really blame him. Plus, that's the thing. I'm a telepath. Why can't I telepath him? Probably because he's got telepathic defenses, since they're genetically engineered. Now, are they actually going to go into the tent? Yes! I've always had problems getting my bridge officers to go into this tent. Talk to away team. Sir, I have been passively scanning since we arrived at the camp. They have lots of fresh supplies, many from off-world. Their exile should have prevented that. By now the Ferasans' tents should be rags. Their clothes so torn they would be used more practically for repairing other gear. There are no starving Shiasi, no Shiasi barefooted, no Shiasi unprepared for survival. This camp is as it should have been 2 years ago. They did say they rationed things. More than likely they're being supported by pirates from off-world. Orions, Nausicaans, Ferengi. Who knows? I'm also reading a series of tunnels under the camp, and a power source is faintly registering. I'm betting the Shiasi have a base there. Can you track the tunnels to a possible access point? Yes, sir. I think I can narrow it down. Lead the way. Of course, he won't be leading the way. I will. Because if you want something done right... Hold on. Kudekatan. Do you have... No, you don't. This is a bridge officer you get from the 2800 featured episode series. He is a Jem'Hadar, and if you know Jem'Hadar lore, you know that they require something called... Oh, hold on. Roster. Active ground. Back. Where are you? Dathan. You get this as a duty officer for doing the 2800. You get him the same mission you get Kudekatan. If he's on active duty, you can replicate Ketracel White. So, another good trick. They stack up to 20. So what I'm going to do is make 21, because he doesn't have any right now. 6, 7, 8, 9... You can see over above my chat box how many I'm actually making. That's something that I usually do. Now, the reason I'm giving him 21, watch what happens when I drop the first in. Immediately vanishes because he uses it. So then I give him the rest. Fight well, Kudekatan. Ketracel White gives him a fairly sizable offensive buff, so it's always a good idea to keep your Jem'Hadar stocked with White. 10% all damage and 20% maximum hit points. Very nice to have. Running, 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 run. Juke my way through the forest. Huh, there's something over there. I wonder what it could be. Open hatch. So, we should be on our guard. Who knows what will be down there. Enter the secret facility. Remember when I said that we would be finding bioweapons? Yep, here we go. Begins the horror show. This was also something I liked about the mission. He made this, I think, the first year that the Um, Actually, no, it might have been the second year that the winter event played, right after the launch of Season 7 or Legacy of Romulus, I can't remember which. Because it introduced a certain type of non-combat pet that you could collect, and there was a special winter variety. And the NPC that sold them was incredibly annoying, and it basically became an in-joke among the community. He took that in-joke a little bit further. Lieutenant General, we should be cautious. The Ferasans do not hide things for no reason. Facilities like this are often used by Federation Patak for research. And the Ferasans are far more military than even Starfleet's more radical factions. Something dangerous could be hiding here. Very well. He has actually included race-specific dialogue options. Sometimes I take ones that aren't for my race, because I don't think he actually included any Lithian ones. But I kind of roleplay this guy as being sort of Klingon in his behavior, because he's been living among Klingons for a while. Maybe during the next loading screen, I'll explain this guy's backstory as I've written it, because I actually quite enjoy that. You notice I'm aiming and going down the hall. There's a green circle. Beware the green circle. Epohs? What are they doing here? Start with an orbital barrage. Kill them all! Kill them quickly! No, you really want to kill these guys quickly. Kill them. Mind Crush! Oh dear. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Wonder where that Epoh was hiding that. A name. Lieutenant General, that Epoh spewed fire, and that one spat acid, and another unleashed Fecklari on us. We should study these corpses. Agreed. Do the scanny thing. Riaro! These miserable Ferasan Patak have heavily modified these Epohs with a variety of genetic enhancements. At least two of these Epohs possess flame sacs to spew fire. One has a venom sac in the same location, and all of them seem to have their fifth and sixth eyes replaced with advanced holographic emitters, which is where those Fecklari came from. We should look further into find who is responsible and gather more information about this threat. Is there nothing these Shiasi will not do? What's next? Dropping tribbles on Kronos? Now you see what I mean about evil pets. If you aren't Epohh-phobic by the end of this mission, you will be. Lieutenant General, there appears to be several biological specimens in this room, dead and alive. We should scan them for more data. Perhaps we will learn more about these modifications. Scan the corpse. This Cation appears to have been put under heavy work until his arms and legs were broken. When the Ferasans could find no use of him, they appeared to use him as bait for the Epohs. He has severe 3rd, 4th, and 5th degree burns on his body and several bite marks. I would say he died in a very horrific murder. There is no honor for his death, a tragedy for any species. Yes, 5th degree burns are actually real. To the bone. Through the bone. It's not something you want to have happen to you. It's painful. Scan the Epoh. This Epoh has been placed into a genetic enhancement chamber. So far, his pituitary gland has been altered to generate enzymes that would make the creature highly aggressive to life forms besides Ferasans, without the pheromones of Clan Shiasi. In addition, I am reading the development of a poison sac, and increased mandible size, as well as possible telekinetic powers. We should destroy these specimens before we leave this facility. Yeah, we really should be destroying these specimens. Scan the hologram. Lieutenant General, these appear to be plans to attack Starbase 29 near Kate. Among the data includes a computer virus that would disable their life support security systems, preventing them from stopping biological threats. In addition, I am finding a modified version of a Tellurian plague that appears would sterilize a Cation and not a Ferasan. Appears to sterilize, I would think. This is a dishonorable attack that would bring no glory to the Ferasans. A hollow victory. Alright, time to find whoever's responsible for this. And then they will learn. Alright, I see red dots on the map. Something to do when finding red dots? Set them up. Uh-oh. Apparently battle has already begun. Have a grenade. Also, that reminds me, are my cruise abilities set up properly? I really should cover the bridge officer training system since it got a revamp, but not today. Jasad, are you using the proper abilities that I gave you? You should be using Photon Grenade. Master of Whispers. Ability, Vascular. Yeah, oh. Yeah, everything checks out. Alright, squad. Form up on her. It's gonna have you place that fuse armor. Oh, I guess he is using fuse armor. That's actually kind of useful. Huh. Balera, where are you? Balera? Oh dear. Here's the other problem with Foundry missions. Because the terrain is basically custom generated, it causes some boff pathing issues sometimes. It's not really avoidable, you just have to go back and find your bridge officer sometimes. Da-da-dee, da-da-da. Balera, come on. I'm gonna need your minigun for this. This is going to be unpleasant. Balera. Balera, come on. Through the doorway. Sometimes you've got to walk your bridge officers through facilities. Not something that can really be helped. Limitations of the engine. Now get in here. Talk to Zakar the Depraved. You have killed my honor guard. Such strength is to be commended. Unlike your murder of my friends earlier. Who are you, and are you responsible for this? My name is Zaketh of Clan Shiasi. Your friends in Clan Mavisi would call me Zakar the Depraved. Fools. They banished me and my clan from the cities for daring to suggest our race undergo further genetic modification. The eugenics program on Ferasa is ancient and well known. For centuries we have enhanced ourselves to be better, faster, stronger, and telepathic. Now that Clan Mavisi is in control, they would end those days. They behaved like the unforgiven of Ferasa, the Cations. Fools, all of them. It is the Ferasan legacy to lead us into the stars. The Federation, the Klingon Empire, and the Romulan Star Empire and their soft shadow, the Romulan Republic, the Cardassian, all the great powers have been too weak to face. Never should a Ferasan have joined the Klingon Defense Force, or suffered the disarmament in the 22nd century. You speak of conquering nations, and you are ill-prepared to face. Your arrogance blinds you. And your quest for honor and glory binds you to the threats around you at this moment. My Epohh warriors will swarm Ferasa, New Romulus, and Kronos, maybe even Earth itself. With them, Clan Shiasi will be the pride of prides and take its place as the rightful rulers of the galaxy. Now you are a problem to our plans. Perhaps you should meet my latest warriors. And here's where the joke comes in. After all, don't you want an Epohh friend? Wow, why am I lagging? Ah! I don't know why I'm lagging all of a sudden. And that's not just the video, if it is lagging in the video. Let me at her, let me at her. Cryo grenade out, Polaron barrage out. All we do is AoE. Grenade out. Typo up because I'm standing in plasma fire. That's not a good idea. Get dunked. Get wrecked. Still lagging for some. Oh, fuck. I don't know what you said. You have changed nothing. One day, Clan Shiasi will be the pride of prides, rule Ferasa, and one day, the Klingon Empire too. Not likely. Scan the lab. Lieutenant General, this lab is filled with specimens of Epohs. Some have already been automatically released into the outside environment, but there may be a way to euthanize the ones in the lab. Perhaps that Consul Zakar was working at. Excellent idea. Well, I thought so. Why the hell am I lagging so much? Kill the monstrosities. Kill them now. Excellent, sir. Shall we return to the surface and eliminate the Shiasi? May their numbers be eliminated for the honor of Ferasans everywhere. Ferasans. Unforgiven. Shiasi is a truly depraved clan. Epohs. Spawning Feclari. All of this is basically an in-canon reason for having reskinned Feclari as enemies, and that's technically what you're killing. But they're reskinned as Epohs, and that makes them hard to hit sometimes. Because they are super tiny. That's actually one of the hardest parts of the mission, is actually targeting them. Just keep spamming buttons. Just keep button pressing. Be in RPG mode. If you're in shooter mode, you're probably not going to hit shit. Also, pulse waves. We've got company. The security protocols have gone off in the lab. We know what you've done. The Pride will not tolerate any more interference from the KDF or the traitors of Ferasa. Your superiors would say it is a good day to die. For you, at least. For you, it is a good day to die. Now that they can't move... Oh look, you're all fucking dead. Good riddance. We need to get to the Shiasi camp. Double time. Frosted boots. Ho! Spawn the reinforcements. Gorn, Romulan Republic. And they're not faring well, are they? Where's the Patriarch? I want to kill the Patriarch. Confront the Shiasi Patriarch. Well, you've done well to eliminate the Shiasi in this camp. Too bad it is merely a front of our clan. The exile was inconvenient, if not for our allies among the Orion Syndicate. Oh, and you need not worry about your ambassador friend. I assure you she will meet an accident from one of her minions. Anyone who betrays her allies isn't one for the Ferasans to trust either. Then again, neither the Romulan or Gorn lackeys of the Klingon Empire. The Republic is no one's lackey. Perhaps you've spent too much time snorting Napada. Indeed, has the Chag grass deluded your mind? You have betrayed your people and your clan. Now they face destruction. For what? A few mutant woodland creatures? I've had less delusions on Romulan ale and on Romulan... Never mind. Was it worth it, Patriarch? Fools, as we speak, our forces are attacking the weak Ferasan defense force and your ships in orbit, while our main fleet is preparing to attack. I'm just not going to listen to him gloat. As the arbiter of lineage, I declare your clan unclean and a disgrace to Ferasa. No more Shiasi shall be born on Ferasa. The clans will not forget, and nor shall we forgive. You are a traitor to Ferasa, unforgiven for the rest of time! How ironic. As the arbiter of rights, I sentence you to death by the hands of the allies of Ferasa. They have proven your duplicity and betrayal. As such, they have the right to execute. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Have grenade. Have polaron. Have guns. Have much damage. Aw, he died before I could mind rape him. By the way, Lithians have a species trait called Rapture. It's a psionic damage over time effect, and it's nasty. Oh, I appear to be standing in Balera. How did Balera die? Hail the ship. Lieutenant General, several Ferasan ships have just started attacking each other. What are your orders? Those ships are loyal to Shiasi. Beam us up immediately. It's time for fighting. And that means you get to see the torpedo boat. Here comes the Shakespeare. You know, this mission would be threatening for me if these were reskinned Jem'Hadar ships, but I don't think they are. I think they might be reskinned either Elachi or Romulan ships. I can't remember. So this character's backstory. Illusion is not technically his name. He no longer has a name. He was a... Well, hold on. I'll just go ahead and tell that at the end of the mission. I'll read that later. Right now, battle. Torpedo spreads, cry havoc, and let's slip the dogs of war. Oh, they're all dead. Lieutenant General, the Gorn and Romulan ambassadors are reporting in, and they are willing to help us in the fight. In addition, several Shi'asi cruisers have warped out in the confusion and are on a course to Federation space. It is likely they are planning to engage in their assault on Starbase 29. We should clean up the rebels immediately. And then I said, battle alert, and we went ahead and killed them before everyone else was dead. Sir, we are being hailed by Patriarch Rusith on the screen. General, the Shi'asi's treachery will not be forgotten. They will be as unforgiven as the Cation. Traitors. Now they seek to deploy their weapons on our mortal enemy. It's ironic that the Cations would be unforgiven for attacking Clan Shi'asi, and that the Shi'asi would then become unforgiven themselves. While we do not condone their actions, many on this world would welcome the deaths of the Cation people, and our forces therefore cannot be deployed against them. Today I turn to my Klingon and Romulan allies to assist Ferasa. The Shi'asi weapons of war are a blight on the prides, and would only strengthen their clan in standing. Today I must ask you to partake in battle, not only to defeat your enemy, but to save another enemy. Today, that is where the honor lies. Please, stop the Shi'asi and eliminate them. The Shi'asi Patak are the real enemy today. We will fight for Ferasa. No doubt the Federation will try to spin this, whether it will be an act of unprovoked aggression from Ferasa and the Klingon Empire, or a view of peace that the Klingon Empire would save the Cations from rebels, will not matter. This is a matter of honor. Lieutenant General, Kapla. So yeah, this guy, I've written that he is a member of a secret order of telepathic assassins. So they use their telepathy to kill people. His bridge officer, Master of Whispers, is another one of them, as is one of my other characters. He's literally a telepathic assassin. Actually, I've got two other characters in there now, because I forgot about Silence. All of their names are based on how they prefer to kill people. So, that's this guy's overview of the backstory. He's been living among the Klingons ever since the Klingon-Gorn War of 2399. So he's kind of Klingonized a little bit. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Hey look, a kitty carrier. Uh-oh. They're here. Gravity well out. Scramble sensors out. And torpedoes squared away. You know what? Aw, damn it. I forgot that's based on target. Web mines, because those are nasty. Let's target the kitty carrier since it's being molested by our mines. Yeah, those mines wreck shit. Really should do a more detailed overview of this build. Maybe I'll do it at the end of the video. And those are tricobalt mines. Nasty pieces of work, them. Now that the battle's over, I can decloak and collect my loot. Sir, Federation reinforcements have arrived. Incoming hail. On screen. This is Captain James Emerson of the USS Harmony. We received a distress call from this starbase. Our scanners are picking up Ferasan ship debris along with several Aatrox wreckage. Captain Emerson, we were pursuing Ferasan rebels to this system. Ferasan rebels? Please, Captain. Our sensors are detecting Klingon disruptor fire on several Cation ships. Using Ferasan rebels would make a great cover for a Klingon Ferasan joint assault on Kate. Show me proof and maybe I'll believe you. They were developing a bioweapon. The Romulan Republic ambassador will support us on this issue. Ambassador Jilia's ship is confirming your story. However, the presence of KDF ships and Cation ships with Klingon disruptor burns means you were compliant on the attack on this station. We had no opportunity to announce our intentions. Lieutenant General, I do not believe you. In the name of the United Federation planets, I order you to stand down and prepare to be boarded. Battle alert! All power to weapons. And by that I mean cloak. Because this is an Odyssey-class ship. And apparently it's a reskinned command cruiser. They're gonna regret that.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
You're not allowed to target us. Look at that damage. You can tell that I'm taking damage because I am actually using the spatial charge console. That does technically leave you uncloaked because of the mechanics of the enhanced battle cloak, but in return it does a ton of damage. Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, bitches. Lieutenant General, I assure you the Romulan Republic will send a full diplomatic protest to the Federation over that unprovoked attack. Captain Emerson was clearly overruled, who was unfit for command. I assure you the Empire will not receive any political backlash for this incident. I will be returning to Mulrihan immediately. That's what the cool people call New Romulus. Good luck, Lieutenant General. Kapla. Ambassador Satas is hailing us. Lieutenant General, I was listening in on your conversation with Jilia. I am grateful for her assistance. She has proven to be a reliable ally. If she can apply political pressure on the Federation, then this will be a great victory for us. And with Clan Shiasi now dead, the Ferasan clans will look favorably upon the Empire. And I assure you, I personally will be returning to the Ferasa for further discussions with Patriarch and the clan leaders. Chame Kaso! Your words do me great honor. I don't even know what those words were. You should return to Kronos and file your report immediately before the Federation Patak decide to respond to this incident. Lieutenant General, Kapla. Kapla! Go to next map, go to next map. It's an older mission, but it's still a goodie. I don't know why it's asking me to beam up and warp to Ferasa. Probably engine limitations again. But Honor of Ferasa, talk to Worf. Where is Worf? Worf is here. I see. So the Shiasi clans of Ferasa, the Shiasi clan of Ferasans were planning on using mutant Epohs to conquer the galaxy. I would say that is a ridiculous plan, but I think that is obvious. Perhaps the High Council would consider tighter restrictions on the trading of Nepata. Regardless, you have done the Empire a great service today. Kapla, and good luck. Kapla, Gintak Worf. We will meet again. Congratulations on completing the mission. You've solved the mystery on Ferasa and brought the Klingon Empire and Ferasan clans together. Kapla. When writing the Ferasans for this mission, I tried to stay close to the source race, whose name I cannot mention. I probably can. They're based on the Kzinti from the animated series, but because of legal limitations, they couldn't be named Kzinti, so they became Ferasans. But they since have gone on to have their own franchise, and I felt it prudent to give them their own unique spin as separate of two races. For instance, their source race has non-intelligent females, while Ferasans have very intelligent women. I also kept them closer to their Cation cousins, and I gave them clan-based feudal structures. In addition, details in the eugenics and genetic engineering program were based on the details from the Unforgiven of Ferasa duty officer chain. If you've not played it, I suggest it. I have done it on Rygo, but I need to do it on everyone else. What's with the mutant Epohs, though? I thought the Epohs would be fun. The first thought was the Feclari's vomit attack coming from the Epoh and worked from there. I also discovered that a Gorn Sar mob made great non-altered Epohs. Why the Ferasans? The Ferasans were a completely blank slate. I personally have a Ferasan KDF tune, and I often wondered how the Ferasans differ from the source material counterparts. As a result, it left me with a lot of opportunities to work with. In addition, I was very happy when I modified the Defera ground map to serve as the Ferasan capital. It came across like the Ferasans had chosen not to cut down trees in the name of progress, but chose to keep them up, as if they jump into them at any moment. It added a bit of mystique to the race as to why they would choose to do such a thing. And that's it for this mission, again. It's gonna... I wonder if he's online. No, he is not. So, that's the end of Honor of Ferasa. I will be recording Honor of Orion, the second mission, immediately hereafter. But since this is the end of the first episode, this has been Lord Ice signing off. So long, and see you out there.